Right now, thousands of aircraft are flying through complete darkness. No streetlights, no horizon, no moon in sight. Just a black void in every direction. And yet, not a single one of those pilots is lost. They know exactly where they are, how high they are, which way they're pointing, and precisely where the runway is, even though they can't see any of it. So how is this possible? How do planes fly at night without seeing anything? The answer is one of the most brilliant invisible systems humans ever built. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a night flight the same way again. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Pilots don't actually fly by looking outside. Not at night, and often not even during the day. Your eyes are dangerously unreliable in the dark. Without a visible horizon, your brain has no reference for which way is up. You can be in a slow turn, losing altitude, completely convinced you're flying perfectly level. This is called spatial disorientation, and it has killed experienced pilots in seconds. The inner ear, the muscles, the eyes, all of them lie to you when there's nothing to see. So aviation solved this problem in the most reliable way possible. It stopped trusting the human body and started trusting instruments. Look at any cockpit and you'll find the single most important instrument in aviation, the attitude indicator, also called the artificial horizon. This little display shows a fake horizon line, blue for sky, brown for ground. No matter how dark it is outside, this instrument always tells the pilot the truth. Are the wings level? Is the nose pointing up or down? Around it sits an entire team of instruments. The altimeter tells them their exact height. The airspeed indicator tells them how fast they're moving. The heading indicator acts like a compass. The vertical speed indicator shows if they're climbing or sinking. Together, these instruments build a complete picture of the aircraft in space, a picture the pilot's own eyes could never provide in the dark. Pilots are trained to constantly scan these instruments in a rhythm, cross-checking one against another. They literally fly the numbers, not the view. But instruments only tell a pilot how the plane is oriented. They don't tell them where they are over the Earth. For that, aviation covers the entire planet in invisible radio highways. Scattered across the ground are navigation beacons that constantly broadcast radio signals. Aircraft receive these signals and use them to figure out their exact position, like an invisible web of roads in the sky that only the instruments can see. On top of that, modern aircraft use GPS, the same satellite system in your phone, but far more precise. Satellites orbiting thousands of kilometers above constantly tell the aircraft where it is, down to a few meters. All of this feeds into the aircraft's navigation computer, which displays a moving map. The pilots can follow their entire route across a dark ocean or an empty desert, seeing a glowing line to their destination, even when there is absolutely nothing visible outside. Now, here's something most passengers don't realize. For most of a night flight, the pilots aren't even holding the controls. The autopilot flies the aircraft. But it's not lazy, it's precision. The autopilot takes all that instrument and navigation data and holds the plane on an exact heading, altitude, and route, far more smoothly than a human hand could for hours at a time. This frees the pilots to do the most important job at night, monitoring. They watch the systems, manage the radios, plan the descent, and stay ready to take over instantly if anything goes wrong. The autopilot doesn't get tired. It doesn't get disoriented in the dark. It just holds the numbers perfectly, mile after mile. But a single plane isn't alone up there. On a busy night, one patch of sky can hold hundreds of aircraft, all invisible to each other in the dark. This is where air traffic control comes in. On the ground, controllers watch giant radar screens, where every aircraft appears as a glowing dot, tagged with its call sign, altitude, and speed. Every aircraft carries a device called a transponder that broadcasts its identity and altitude. Controllers use this to keep planes safely separated, guiding them like an invisible conductor directing an orchestra none of the players can see. And as a final safety net, aircraft talk directly to each other. A system called TCAS lets planes detect nearby traffic, and if two get too close, it actually tells each pilot what to do. One climbs, one descends. All automatic, all in the dark. Now for the real challenge. Cruising in the dark is one thing, but landing? Touching down on a specific strip of concrete at over 250 kilometers per hour in the dark, that's where the system truly shines. As a plane approaches an airport at night, it locks onto something called the Instrument Landing System, or ILS. The ILS sends out two invisible radio beams from the runway. One beam keeps the plane lined up left to right, the localizer. The other beam holds it on the perfect descent angle down to the touchdown point, the glide slope. The pilot, or the autopilot, simply keeps the aircraft centered where these two beams cross. Follow the beams and they lead you straight to the runway, even if the pilot can't see it until the last few seconds. And then there are the lights. Airports are covered in a carefully designed pattern of lights. Approach lights guide the plane toward the runway. Threshold lights mark where it begins. Edge lights outline the sides. There's even a clever set of lights called PAPI, 4 lights that appear red or white depending on the plane's angle. Too high, and the pilot sees more white. Too low, and they see more red. Too red and too white means the approach is perfect. It's a glide path you can read with your eyes in a single glance. Put it all together, the instruments, the radio beams, the lights, and a pilot can bring a 200-ton machine safely onto the ground in near total darkness. Some aircraft can even land completely automatically, in fog so thick the pilots can't see the runway at all. So the next time you're on a night flight, staring out into pure blackness, remember this. You're not flying blind. You're wrapped inside one of the most reliable systems humanity ever engineered. Instruments that never lie. Radio beams that draw invisible roads across the sky. Satellites watching from orbit. Controllers guiding from the ground. And runways that speak in light. The pilots aren't seeing with their eyes. They're seeing with the entire system around them. And that system was built, piece by piece, so that darkness would never again mean danger. Now, here's a question that works on the exact same principle. If planes can navigate a dark sky, how do submarines navigate a pitch-black ocean, hundreds of meters underwater, where even radio doesn't work? That's a whole different invisible system, and it's the next video on system logic. If you learned something new, subscribe, because the world is full of invisible systems, and we're just getting started.